Previous meeting order, pledge the flag.
You guys don't put the flag.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call. Here.
Here.
How about Jamie? Would you like to have the floor first?
Sure, thank you. I distributed to each of you this evening a CDBG project update, which I had sent over to Terry, I believe, last week, so you might have already seen it. I just wanted to be here tonight to give you a quick update on current CDBG projects and talk a little bit about the 2013 schedule that will be starting very soon. The Riverfront project is just about done. The engineering has about 15,000, a little more than 15,000 left to pay, and there is a little over 16,000 of CDBG funds in that account right now. So those should all be paid out in the next couple months here, and that project should be finished. Demolition, you can see there the total that's available for demolition with 2011 funds remaining and the 2012 funds that aren't here yet. Should be soon. There's some outstanding costs yet on the previous demolition projects. There's a change order with the contractor for 128 South Street. There's the demolition cost for the city crew to do 121 Julia Street. And then there's also some acquisition costs for 160 Linden Street. So anything remaining after those outstanding costs are paid will be put towards the next round of demolition. The redevelopment authority met last week, had a planning session, and selected some new properties to work towards acquiring for the next round of demolition. The authority has also pledged $30,000 towards the county's Blade Task Force initiative, which just means that the redevelopment authority will use that $30,000 for Market Street south to the bridge, which they declared their target area.
Question in effect.
Sure.
Is that just the south side of Market, or is that both sides of Market? Is that...
Both sides of Market.
Okay.
Anything on Market Street south would be considered in that target area.
Okay.
They do not have to wait for the county to get their, to find out if they get their state money or anything like that. We can move forward with the CDBG project as long as it's in that target area. The county will consider that. For 2013 CDBG process that will be starting here pretty soon, I'm recommending again that the council allocate the 30% to this activity as you have been. That's around $73,800. I'm also recommending this year that council and the city retain control of those funds. What that will allow us to do will allow us to acquire and demolish the homes under the city, and then should the redevelopment authority want that property for another project, they could be an entity that comes to the public auction and purchase it along with any other interested party, the way that we have to sell them to get fair market value for them. That way the redevelopment authority isn't demolishing them and then having to figure out how to get them out of the CDBG program and over into a new project. It makes things cleaner that way. The city just does the demolition work, working with the redevelopment authority to select the projects that should be demolished. The facades, as you know, there's 2011 and 2012 money allocated for the facade activity. This activity is conditioned by DCD, which means we can't do anything with it when you get your contract until we get DCD's permission. HUD is reviewing it. The update I got from DCD last week indicated that HUD plans to have their response to the city by the end of the month. I recommend that if HUD says, no, you can't do this the way you propose doing it, that we rebudget those funds into a new activity along with the 2013 process.
That's the end of this month?
Yes, by the end of January, HUD is supposed to have an answer to it.
That's been going on for nearly a year.
Yes, it's been at least 6 months. July was the last time we communicated with HUD about, with our position paper on why we thought we could do it. They're supposed to have an answer to us. The city administrative funds, there's $9,891 from 2011 in city administrative funds. These funds could be used by the city to pay any sort of administrative costs you have associated with the CDBG program, or for such items as newspaper ads for the environmental review postings and things like that. Or if you would post your public hearing notices in the paper, you could pay for that, but we do just go around and actually post those in different locations around the city. The last time we discussed the administrative funds, we had talked about putting them into a planning activity to do site development drawings for the park. However, I don't believe we need those any longer because we aren't looking at pursuing a DCNR grant, and those are specific to DCNR grants. So I would recommend that you rebudget them into some activity. You can put them into a project. It doesn't have to be for admin or planning. You can actually put them into a project. So unless you have some specific planning or admin need for those funds, I suggest we put them into an activity in 2013.
Question.
Yes?
Did you say you're filing for a grant for land use update or not?
No.
Could those funds be used for updating the zoning and the subdivision ordinances if the council so chose?
Yes, they could. That is an eligible activity. I'm doing a zoning ordinance update in Onshore County right now, that they're planning CDBG money. The cost for that, for the county-wide, was about $20,000. That's a county-wide zoning ordinance. The next activity, economic development, there's just 2012 funds in that. That was a new activity that we had proposed doing. Again, that is under HUD review and conditioned by DCED. HUD is supposed to let us know by the end of the month. And again, if they disallow that activity the way it was presented, I suggest we rebudget that money into a new activity. 2012, you also put $30,000 into land acquisition, but that property has already been purchased. So those funds will need to be rebudgeted along with your 2013 money. The last activity is sidewalks. $50,000 of 2012 funds are allocated to sidewalk repair and replacement. I'm going to work with the mayor, with Councilman Eister, and whomever else is interested on council to develop a sidewalk repair and replacement grant program. And I understand we should include a match element in that. We'll have to decide on a specific area where you want to concentrate first for the sidewalk repair. I'd suggest maybe choosing a ward. I'm not sure which one it would be, but that would be up to you guys to decide where you'd like to start. What we're going to need is for the code office or somebody, I'm assuming it's the code office, to actually notify homeowners that their sidewalks are in disrepair and are code deficient and must be replaced. And then along with that notification, we can send them a notice of the grants that are available to help them with that. And then if they feel their income is within the guidelines, they can call and we can set up intake interviews and qualify those who own and occupy their home for sidewalk grants. But we will need the code office or someone to actually notify the homeowners that they need replaced. And then we'll also need that if some homeowners who don't qualify for grants or whatever don't do it, there needs to be some enforcement on the part of the city. Once you're notified that they need replaced, you need to replace it.
We did that about 10, 12 years ago, but we never followed through because we didn't have this grant in front of us. So
Right.
We'll pretty much do the same
We
thing.
really have to be following through, notifying them,
We
following through.
we do notify the people now
Good.
when they have, I think Joe just sent a letter out today for somebody, as a matter of
Okay,
fact. so-
good. Yep, I'm not familiar with the process at this point, but as the mayor and Councilman Eister and I work through the process, I'll work with the code office as well to find out what they're already doing and how we can tear up.
Excuse me, and also with Mike, the other Mike, Gordner,
Is that here?
to coordinate with our paving program as well. Usually if the activities could be targeted at a block or blocks where there's scheduled milling and
Right,
repaving and
good
things of
idea.
this nature, that plus code enforcement, that get the utilities done, get the curb and sidewalk done, that would be the ideal thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's how we did it in the borough of Montoursville. The streets that were going to be paved were actually the ones they selected to do sidewalks over
If it's
here.
possible, it's not always possible.
John, to follow what you're saying there, municipal authority might even have a project where they're going to take and separate the system, which way we combine system. I mean, an ideal block to do over when they were doing their block was separating the stormwater from the solid waste.
Right, we did that years ago on the redevelopment authority before CDBG. It was NDB.
Mhm.
We were born in the 70s.
That's Gordon said.
And we did that sort of thing, like we separated the sewers as much as we could on 6th Street, 6th Street between Market and Chestnut. I'm sorry, 7th Street between Market and Chestnut, and 6th Street between Market north to Arch. And the nice thing about that is that they get the rain spouts down and through the sidewalk, through
Right.
the curb. When you do all that, it sort of completes the puzzle. And
Yeah.
have everything taken care of like that. They're able to do that, it's a good plan.
That's a good idea, then we'll make sure that the public works and the municipal authority are in on it, so we can all work together to figure out what the best place to start is. 2012 program income, as you know, the city generates program income through repayments to the Housing Revolving Loan Fund. $8,097.06 was generated in 2012. Again, we'll allocate this with your 2013 process, but my recommendation would be that 30% of that go to the redevelopment authority demolition, and then the remaining, or to the city for demolition activities to the benefit of the redevelopment authority, or the remaining go to whatever project we select in 2013 project selection. The project summary forms are out now. I do have some blank ones with me if anybody needs one. They are due back to me on Friday. If you can't get it back to me by Friday, just let me know. There's no drop dead by Friday, but I'd like them back by Friday. According to Act 179, which governs the CDBG program, cities must receive $300,000 each year. So unless they change Act 179, or they've been known to break the law and just do it before. So, but we are guessing $300,000 again for 2013, because that is what is required by Act 179. I'm going to recommend, as you see at the bottom there's a budget about almost $353,000 could be available to do a project. I'd recommend looking at one large project. If there's something in the city, be it a public works, paving, street replacement, recreation, whatever it may be, take out the money, the 30% for demolition that we allocate, or slum and blight removal, and then put the rest and all the rebudgeted money that we have into one project. The trouble is, when we did 6 projects last year, you end up with a lot of administrative stuff, a lot of environmental reviews, and a lot of things just spinning rather than happening. So it's best if there is one large project that you've been considering in the city that you've been saying, but I don't know where we'll get the money to do that, we should talk about that. Put it down on a form and give it to me. Even if you don't know if it will be eligible, let's talk about it. Because this is, you have a big pot of money to get something done. Sort of like that Cameron Park project. That was a big impact. We had a large sum of money to rebudget from previous years. That's the kind of project that really makes an impact, where you get the most for your money. So I would ask that you consider doing a large-scale project rather than several small projects.
Well, Jim, I think I've asked you before, until we still have a problem on the flood wall down there north of the project, which we just completed, which was damaged in 2011. Getting numbers by next council meeting. I'll have numbers together, what's going to cost us to do some of it or all of it.
Yeah, provide, as long as it's, we go through the proper process of bidding it out and everything, that would be just the same as the river fund, eligible as a recreation or whatever we'll call it.
The question is, is there any matching money floating around anywhere yet?
I'm not aware of any.
So we have some from federal government, use 30-some thousand, to get the exact number. That's going to be well over the 30-some thousand. And see how it plays out and see what it costs us.
Okay.
So if you could just get me your project summaries by Friday if possible, that would be great.
This Friday.
Yeah, but I'll be here in 2 weeks for the first public hearing, it's the 28th. Cheryl and Terry have the postings put up around the city for that. And again, the 2013 process is probably going to be delayed for when your application is actually due and when we need to know what funding is going to be available with everything going on. So if we get to the first public hearing and you're not comfortable, moving through the process, we can always slow it down if we have to. I think our final public hearing is in April. I can't remember it on the schedule with me, but it's not real. I think we'll have more time if we need it. I don't know what we need it for, but if we do, there is no real hurry in 2013 to get, because we don't even have 2012's contract yet, so.
Yeah, it's not like it's going to be here waiting for us.
No,
Next
right.
week or anything.
You're right, exactly.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you, Jamie. SRI update? Hello, sir.
The 2013 membership drive for SRI is underway. Cost is $20 for an individual membership. That's about the cost of a cheap date. The business memberships begin at $100 and nonprofits at $50. The Spark Committee is currently in the process of applying for monies through DCED and the Neighborhood Assistance Program. These monies would be used for a specific project which we have in mind. At this point in time, We're not going to announce what that project is, but it has to do with a rather large building in the downtown. And we hope it flies because there's some tremendous opportunities there. The Hometown Veterans Banners Program is currently in the process of creating a committee. And if any of you would like to volunteer to serve on that committee, contact the people in the SRI office at 286-7768. Last year, the banners sold for $200 a pop. They're going to be the same price this year. We hope to put up more than we did last year.
Can I ask you, Mr. Lawman,
Yes.
if you had one, you just want to put up the same thing again, you would have access to a disc from before, you need all new stuff submitted?
I think it's all got to be loose out.
Okay.
Are you asking, would they use the same banner again?
No, I know, I've already asked that, you guys said you won't.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if I said I want to make one just like I have now,
Oh,
you have to
yeah.
resubmit that, or you should have it online somewhere.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
certain that'll be fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so as long as you get the $200, you'll find the other information.
Yeah.
All right, sure.
The New Year's Eve celebration was a success. It was estimated that somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 people were in the downtown throughout that period of time. And the feedback on the webpage was pretty positive. T-Biz, we've been talking about T-Biz now for about a year. I guess the T stands for teens, and this will be a program that will be set up in the local high schools. I think there are 5 local high schools involved, and it's an attempt to encourage teenagers to become entrepreneurs. And I'm not so sure I know at this point in time where that funding is going to come from, but this is a program which is already active in Milton and 1 or 2 other places. It's a high school program. And we expect to get about at least 3 to 5 kids from the Chickling School District involved. The Elm Street neighborhood is in the process of hoping to create a sustainability program for Elm Street, which expires June 30th. This month we'll be reorganizing, and we'll be putting together some projects which I hope will lead to some kind of sustainability. The River Festival organizational meeting will be held on Thursday, January 17th at noon in City Council chambers. Anyone who's interested in helping with next year's event is welcome to attend and encouraged to attend. Sunbury Revitalization held its 4th annual holiday decorating contest. I'm not going to read all the winners, but the commercial building first place winner went to something special, a flower shop in the downtown, and the residential first place winner was Natalie Marshall, who was up on 1037 9th Street. Any questions? Thank you. I got to run this up.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Redevelopment Authority update. They had, the Redevelopment Authority on Wednesday had a nice 3-hour meeting. Pretty much put a plan together for this year, try to keep things going. Got it narrowed down to, well, what we did is narrow down our list of properties that are left and added the ones that we want to use various monies for. So what we're going to do next, or what the Redevelopment Authority is going to do next, is pretty much narrow down to maybe 6 properties and how we're going to acquire them and what we're going to use block grant money for and what we're not going to use block grant money for, et cetera. So it should be a little more efficient this year. We should have an opportunity to stay ahead of some of the costs that we ran into last year. So it'll work out a lot better. Now, the other issue that we have is we want to come up with a plan to get more involved with the code office in on this, because when we're standing there looking at these properties now that we're tearing down or remodeling, whatever we're doing with it, and the ones next door to it need help and not demolition, we need to have some enforcement put in here. So what I want to do is, I've talked to Councilman Ister and Councilman Troop, And I want them to get together with Councilman Bartel and see what we can do to be much more aggressive this year. I believe for the big impact that we made with Redevelopment Authority this year, we can easily double our efforts if we just have a little more impact from the code office. And I don't care if that's a simple $25 fine or if that's us doing it ourselves and charging the people. But we need a plan from that office to come out of there so we can pretty much, keep this going and let the people know next door. When we started with that list of 50-some homes and buildings, a lot of them disappeared because people knew we were serious about it, that it was an aggressive program, and that a lot of people were talking about the city of Sunbury, what we're doing here. And that helped a lot because there's 12 or 14 homes that just disappeared off of that. And if you talk to Joe and Mike, they'll tell you that's because people got around to working on those properties. And we want more of that. We want a lot more of that. So if there's the properties around, and we're not talking about somebody has a cracked sidewalk. You know the properties we're talking about. Mr. Lagerman left, but I know the Hill section actually went through, their own committee went through the Hill section and gave us an entire package of pictures. There must have been 30 properties in that, if you remember, Jamie, when we got that last year. And there's no reason we can't have more neighborhoods, sections, or committees to do that type of thing. So what we're looking for is an expansion of this program. We're looking to get as many people involved in various aspects and how we can work together with the government, with the code office and the mayor's office and the redevelopment authority. So I'm sure in the next meeting we'll have some more to talk about that. But that's the goal. I don't think there's anybody that can argue the fact that the program is a success, and it's bringing a lot of positive press, a lot of positive impact into the city of Sunbury. More people now call me about investing in the properties than ever before. And I truly believe, we're off and running from the Riverfront project next, and this is what we have to keep going. So we get more of an update as that comes through, but we need to get more people involved. And it's good to see a lot of the turnout that's here today, and hopefully we get even more people. But I want everybody to understand what we're doing and how we want to go about this. And instead of chasing them around and hiring lawyers to chase them around, there's no reason we can't be putting some fines on people that we've been working with, and they'll tell you. You can ask. I'm sure Joe will tell you. Some of those people we've been working with just way, way, way too long. And it's, here's what we can do, see if we can help you. But one way or another, we're just not going to let them sit around and fall apart anymore. Unfinished business, police contract proposal. We're going to, as soon as this meeting's over, we're just going to have a short executive session down in the mayor's office to talk about the police contract. Board appointments. We'll vote on that at the regular meeting, unless anybody has any openings there. Everything's full. One vacant, recreation board. Jim, Rick Wright, you're going to nominate for that. All right. It's not open, that's good. We'll take care of that at the regular meeting. First thing we'll do at the new meeting is the oath of office. Jason Lehman. Mike, you'll be here at 7?
Yes.
Okay. Is he here now?
No.
Okay. We'll take care of that so he doesn't have to wait around. Todd, you have the tax anticipation resolution. The new council meeting, Todd, we talked about this I think the last meeting. Didn't we bring it up a little bit at the 6:15 and 7 o'clock? So what's the group one? I sort of like to say just go to 2 meetings at 6:15 and forget about this 6:15 and 7. And then
We'll just start at either 6 or 6:15 and we just do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
So we don't have to re-advertise, it's not change anything, we'll just let everybody know that we're going to have, all the meetings are going to start at 6:15. This is advertised 6:15 as it is, but now it's the second and fourth will both be at 6:15. So we'll vote on that at the regular meeting too, unless you guys have something else you're going to.
No, it's just one long meeting, or
Well, just do one meeting.
One meeting,
exactly one meeting, whatever we need to do.
Let everybody knows you'll be here at 6:15. It's like people coming back at 7, and sometimes we talk about the same thing twice, and so I think the 6:15 will work. Okay. Eagles pool tournament. Do you want to talk about that now?
They were bringing it up, they want to take and they utilized the rink 3 years ago, I think it was, 2 or 3 years ago. They want to bring the pool tournament back in May. I'll bring it up then.
Yeah, good.
That's the same, we had that last year, right? Or was that 2 years ago?
Jeremy, how long?
2010.
10.
Okay.
I was just asking about that to somebody the other day. I was wondering why it didn't come back, but I guess it's on
It
3 years.
circulates throughout the state, so it doesn't
Yeah.
stay in the same place all the time. That was a real hit, wasn't it, Jim?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was a good
Went off real good.
Approve to pay invoices, Todd, take care of that. Tax exoneration, Todd, take care of that. We'll talk about cameras now, Todd. You want to wait till the...
We can wait till 7.
All right. Announcement for the state of the city. That would be for, you want to circle out February 27th February 27th, 7 o'clock at the Degenstein. Every committee, commission, authority member will get an invitation, and everybody else will get an invitation by me inviting you. So, and everything else you'll see on the news media.
Cookies?
Cookies and coffee, that's right. That's right. Audience comment, anything before the other meeting? Yes, ma'am?
I have a question about this committee that you're developing with Jenny, Kevin, and Joe.
Yep.
Are they all going to be team players in this meeting, in this group?
Well, that's the goal. We'll see what happens. That's the goal, yes.
Well, because I'm just asking, only because it seems a lot of times that Mr. Bartello is left out of things.
Well, I just told you, it's Jim, Kevin, and Joe.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but I've seen it be.
Well, the goal is for the three of them to get together. There's no reason, my understanding, there's no reason why the three of them won't get together. That's up to them. I can't force them to get together, but hopefully that's what's going to happen.
Those are all team players.
That's the three of them, yes. Jim does, or not either of them, none of them, well, Jim was you were at the planning session. Jim doesn't go to the men recreate or the redevelopment authority meetings either, so none of them are that actually familiar with it, other than the last planning meeting Jim was at. So he would at least have a concept of what we talked about, what the redevelopment authority talked about, to pass on to Kevin, because he wasn't there and Joe wasn't there either. But at least we'll get the concept, which I think everybody understands what that is. Any other question? Yes, ma'am?
Yes, sir. I'm not sure if we're talking about the same thing or not, but on January 8th, there was an article in the Daily Item where you are forming a new committee for the code office, and...
That's the same thing.
It is the same thing?
Yeah, it's not a new committee for the code office, it's a new committee for the redevelopment authority and the development plan, but it's involving the code office, yes.
Okay, because it just said members of the new committee that will be overseeing the initiative.
Right.
My question is this a conflict of interest with both Councilman Troop and Ister owning properties in Sunbury, able to use the inside information that you guys get when you target properties, and also they can purchase, restore, and flip the properties, as from what I understand, Councilman Ister does. To head the co-office and employees, or is it a clever act to oust Councilman Bartello?
Can I respond to that, David?
Go ahead.
But excuse me.
I'll answer that.
I'd like you to answer, sir, since you're the honorable person here. I would like you to answer first, and then Councilman Ister can follow.
Okay, first of all, I said, it's not a code office meeting, it's not a code office committee. It's a committee of the redevelopment authority and thinking of the projects that are happening, getting the code office involved and making this process go through. And any redevelopment authority meeting, anybody in this room can come in any redevelopment authority meeting. They're all public meetings. So as far as anybody owning property and coming to meetings, anybody can come to meetings. These three people are just, my goal is for these three people to come back to City Council and say, here's what we think we can add to the ongoing process of redevelopment in the city of Sunbury to make it better. And how we can use the code office and their employees, and their equipment, and their ordinances, et cetera, et cetera. That's all it's about. So I don't see where there's any advantage for anybody to say there's not a redevelopment authority meeting that's held and isn't open to the public.
Well, the article in the newspaper said that it was going to be overseeing the code office, not the redevelopment authority. You know, the three-member team would be overseeing the code office.
No,
That's what the article is. And I see what she means, when there's employees that are, you know.
This will include scheduling procedures and everyday effort of neighborhood involvement through communications with property owners and the redevelopment authority. I can see neighborhood groups being formed. Neighbors can come together. Members of the new committee that will be overseeing the initiative, that's the code office. Members of the new committee that will be overseeing the initiative are Councilman Joe Bartello, Jim Meister, Kevin Troop. So that's not true. This will be established at the January 14th council meeting, and their first responsibility to be improving the day-to-day workings of the existing code department. This will include scheduling procedures and an everyday effort of neighborhood involvement through communication with property owners. First responsibility will be to improve the day-to-day workings of the existing code office. That will include scheduling procedures and everyday effort of the neighborhood improvement. Well, I don't see anything that says about
The day-to-day operation of the code office.
day-to-day workings of the existing code office. but it says existing code department, this will include scheduling, it explains it right there, this will include scheduling procedures and everyday effort of the neighborhood improvement through communication.
So does that give the council, the two councilmen authority over the code office?
No, it's nothing to do with the code office. It has to do with scheduling and everyday procedures of neighborhood improvement. So the neighborhood improvement project that's going on right now at the redevelopment authority, we're trying to get the code office more involved in that. That's what it doesn't say a thing here about, like maybe you're getting out of first responsibility to improve on the day-to-day workings of the existing code department, but then you don't read on far enough. This will include scheduling procedures and an everyday effort of neighborhood improvement. So it's an involvement. How can we get the code office more involved in the ongoing redevelopment of our neighborhoods in the city of Sunbury? That's exactly what it's for. And the committee is those three people, including the director of that office, to be involved in coming back to say, here's how we can do that.
Thank you for making that.
You're welcome.
I'll do.
Okay. Now, you did mention, go ahead.
Yes, my question is, first of all, Kevin Tripp, to my knowledge, owns no rental properties in the city of Sunbury. Number one.
I didn't say rentals, I said properties.
Well, he owns his home where he lives.
So I don't want to get into what he owns, I just said properties in the city.
Okay, let's go back to myself.
Yes.
You made a statement that I use the city to buy rental properties, is that what you're saying?
No.
No?
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, you explain yourself then, please. I don't try to
I
understand what you're saying.
said that you own properties in the city of Sunbury, is that true?
That's true,
Okay.
definitely.
So to put you on a committee that would be overseeing the inspectors that do their job in the code office would be a conflict of interest, no?
We're doing that, but we're not doing that.
Well, I know, so therefore he has nothing to say to me because you cleared everything up for me.
Well, that's all he's trying to get, to get an accusation.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Wait. Yes.
Mayor, I have several grievances that I need to take the third step to city council.
Okay, just bring them up here and give them to Cheryl. Ma'am?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right, no, that's all right.
I know I keep bringing this up, but I keep getting the feeling that something is going on down at where Celotex was, and I understand that there was a meeting held with Clean Harbors. Is that true?
What's a meeting?
Yes, no? A meeting with the council with Clean Harbors.
Not to the best of my knowledge, council did not meet with Clean Harbors.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
And it
Is there something going on in the property though, because they're backfilling and dirt and so forth there?
No, that's not Clean Harbors. At the other end, Moran's still filling that area, if that's what you're talking about. Moran's still filling this area.
With dirt front and so forth?
Yeah, that's just dirt that you're filling that in.
I just get a funny feeling of what.
Clean Harbor's sitting around just like I told you at the last meeting. There's nothing happening up north. There's lots of people, I don't know about you guys, I know a lot of people that were working up there that aren't working up there anymore. That's all closed up. Most of them went to Ohio. Now they're not even in Ohio. They all went up to South Dakota. And I don't understand what white gas is, but that seems to be what everybody's after now. It's because the price of gas is so low, they just capped everything off. So there's a lot of those millions of dollars everybody thought the state was making, they're not making up north. So I don't understand how that works and how that's ever going to turn around. But there's no work for them right now. There's nobody, a lot of people that are hauling water and hauling water. Truck drivers that I know don't have jobs. So hopefully it comes back, but there's nothing new happening up there other than the same thing. Yes.
Did they apply for any new permits recently?
Best of my knowledge, they have not applied for
I
any.
thought the rumor was that they applied for something for a wastewater permit of some sort. Is there anything to
Last thing
that
I
at all?
heard from DOT was the last time they refused it, they returned everything down, and they said they might come back and apply for it sometime. But I'm not aware of them applying for anything.
Okay, will we be informed if they do apply
Oh, I'm
for new
sure.
permits?
DOT has announced it in the past, so I'm sure they'll do it again, yes.
The council, will you keep us informed if
Yep.
they should apply for new
Yep.
permits of any kind?
I don't see how they're going to stay in business because there's no activity up north. That's why I'll be surprised if they can stay in business. There's nothing happening up there, so that's up to them. That's, I hate to lose a business. We'll see what happens. But that's my knowledge. There's no applications been put in there. And any of you can call or check with DOT, DER, or it would be DEP. I guess I'm giving you the wrong initials. So DEP. That's public information. Yes, ma'am.
One thing that I do know that's going on in that area is the municipal authority is looking into planning to separate the wastewater and the stormwater.
Well, there's a citywide plan, so they did up in the hill last year, and I guess that's the direction, but I haven't gone to a meeting for a municipal authority meeting for a while, so I'm not sure where in particular, but if you went to municipal authority meeting, you can find that out exactly what direction. In fact, I think I'm wondering tomorrow I'll swear something in. If I think about it, I'll try and make myself a note and see where they're working next.
They did do one planning, but there's some questions from the planners, so they're going to have a second planning of, this much and that much.
Right. Yeah, that's an ongoing, that'll be going on throughout our lifetimes, everybody sitting in this room, and they do that all the time. It's just, it's a funding nightmare, and but old cities, we're not any different than all the rest of them, so they're always trying to separate any little, one street here, one street there, whatever they can do. And like I said, they did a lot up in the hill last year, and I wasn't really aware if that was the next area, but I knew they were going to move to another area.
It's on the planning.
That's good, that could help some of the streets out. Yes, ma'am.
I have a grievance. I live across the street from a garage at 406 Walnut Street. For 3 years plus, I've been complaining about this property, permitting a tenant to park the truck or a vehicle sometimes when he's doing repairs. It could be a tractor trailer, it could be a truck, motorcycle, snow plows, but the code office has done as much as I guess they possibly can. And I've kind of given up on the issue about the truck being parked on the sidewalk, but I do have an issue with rubbish, such as like tonight, if you go there, there's several panels outside front of the garage. A snow plow, I don't know, just the piece that plows the snow, with a baby carriage, chips on the ground from when they do the repairs, because they were working on the truck yesterday when they put the panels around the truck. And I understand that this person works for the code office where he picks up trash and rubbish as I guess a contractor, and that would be D&G disposal. How can I get some help? I live there, I own a house, I have tenants. When I came here, the place didn't look crappy. We didn't have loud noise on Saturdays and Sunday from drilling and hammering, and all of this wasn't there. If there was a business there, or if there were repairs that were going to be done, I certainly would not have bought the house in that location. And I'm asking the city to give me a little help on this, because 3 years plus, certainly something's wrong. It stinks in Denmark.
Well, I have your letter here in front of me, so I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. And I can only refer to two things. As far as the sidewalks, the police department did investigate it. There was 6-foot opening in the sidewalks. So I'm not saying the tire wasn't on the sidewalks, but there clearly was no blockage there. As far as the noise situation, there is no city ordinances that says you can't work on your house, in your yard, on your car, anything in the middle at 2:30 in the afternoon. So unless there be somebody standing outside screaming about profanities or something, then we could do something. But there's no ordinance against that. As far as the rubbish, are you saying the code office didn't do anything?
I'm saying that in 3 years plus, when I call the code officers, they go there, they look at it, the gentleman might clean up his act for a week or two, but then he's back to doing whatever repair work that he does. And he must have a large business, because every time I make a complaint, I'm told that's his brothers, that's some family members, or that's a part of the business that he runs in the city.
Is it a business? The site for
From
it?
what I think I went to the treasurer's office one time, and I was told that it's not a
It's
business.
just a rental. It's not a business, I don't think, is it?
No, it's not.
Have they checked it out? You guys, is there an issue there? What's the issue?
He rents a garage.
Like storage garage.
Yeah.
I mean, is there garbage, or is it just a plow sitting out front?
There's a plow right now, and I think 2 or 3 pieces of plywood, because they was closing a truck up, not closing up, putting sides on it.
Was there anything there in violation of any ordinances?
Is that not considered
No.
rubbish?
No, that's not right.
What, something putting on his truck?
Yes, sir, it's
Plywood.
You know, it's like it makes a precedence for people to do things. At nighttime, people park there. They don't know anything about an ordinance that if you park on the sidewalk and leave 5 feet, that pedestrians can pass by. So they see a truck parked, they go ahead and they park on the sidewalks. What you see in the daytime is totally different than what happens at nighttime. And for me to have to get frustrated or angry that I go to the code office, and I know the councilman owns the property, why can't something be done about it?
We haven't seen any violations. I'm just trying to understand. Like I said, I know what my police department did. There's no violations there.
Okay.
Is there? That's why I asked the code office.
I don't want this to be an argument.
No, I'm not.
So
I'm just trying to understand what.
I'll bring you pictures and show you the type of
Don't bring them to
trash.
me. Go to the code office. They're the ones that issue the fines if there's
And
a
I'm
rubbish
saying I've
there.
been to the code office over 3 years.
Well, who are you referring to as a councilman? Joe's the one that runs that department.
Councilman Ister owns the property.
But he's not on. Doesn't run the code office. He has nothing with the code office.
All right.
I'm
I
gonna
just want
ask
to make
Joe.
sure I can bring that grievance out, because like I said, I've been going to the code office. Obviously, the code officers are ineffective in what they're doing
Well, or
because they're not
they-
able to perform their job.
They'll explain to you why it's not a violation if it's not a
And they've
violation.
seen everything I'm talking about, so that letter does not address everything for 3
Oh, I don't know,
years.
Joe, have you seen this letter?
Which one is it?
Yes,
There's several
Oh,
letters.
I'm sorry, then you've seen it, okay.
But thank you for the opportunity.
Well, the
to let
opportunity,
me
I'm gonna make,
express it.
right, and we'll make sure the code office is aware of that for you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
But I want to make it clear, Councilman Ister has nothing to do with the code office, other
No,
than
but
the new
he
committee
owns
that we
the
just.
property, and I'm sure they must have some sort of fear about dealing with him, or maybe, you know, he told them he put his foot down, and they're not bothering him, because if it was someone else, they would be getting fined. And if they get fined enough, then they don't continue to do what they want to do.
I guess you're allowed to make all the accusations you want, ma'am, but I guarantee that's a further thing from the truth. Anything else about that?
No, thank you.
Well, we'll follow through on it.
I appreciate that.
Anything else from the audience? Let's take a 5-minute break, and then we'll start the regular meeting.